And listening to big hit songs of your senior year can help as well.
Good Day Chicago at 8 starts now.
And here at 8 o'clock, we continue to follow breaking news. Metra commuters without a ride this morning after a major freight train derailment. We will have the latest service updates.
A woman shot by federal agents is ready to sue, while her attorneys say newly released evidence backs up her case.
And the city council is looking to ban certain hemp products. We will hear why some business owners say that's a bad idea.
And 8 o'clock on the dot. Look at that view, you guys. Looks mighty nice with that sun finally shining. People out, dogs out, cats out, you name it.
Did you see David's? Did you see David's?
Yes, we're giving Woodstock Willie his props from
way better than Punxsutawney Phil.
And let's hope that this continues. I don't want to have, 18 on March 18th with 4 feet of snow coming down. Let's hope that's the case. We had a secret camera location yesterday when Anthony was taking his Oldsmobile Buick through the car wash. Here's a little video clip of what that looked like, and you can see him going through there.
Oh, look at that, yes.
All right, I bet the car washes are going to be packed today. Get that salt off the car. We have sunshine. Should be right around 30 in an hour or so. Plenty of sun at noon, 38 degrees, and a fine afternoon on the way. Not as warm as yesterday, but still way warmer than normal. It's 27 at O'Hare, sunshine galore. West-northwest winds are blowing at 10. We have a little bit of a wind chill, feels like 17. Some other current temps, 28 at Joliet, 25 Waukegan, 30 at Gary, 26 now at Morris. Pretty much area-wide, headed for the low 40s today. All right, let's talk here about, I know that train wreck is getting a lot of attention on the rails in particular. What is the latest there, Anthony?
Yes, southwest side of the city here, in the Chicago Ridge, Oaklawn neighborhood, a train derailment may end up impacting Metro's Southwest service line all day, we are hearing.
And we have Roseanne live there with the crew. Explaining the latest, Roseanne, have you talked to more folks there?
Only a couple. I think we're doing a pretty good job getting the word out. But let me first show you our vantage point. As we look down these tracks, we are to the west of the incident of the derailment that you see there, right down the way. And this is between Ridgeland and Central Avenues. It is tying up traffic on the rails and the roads in this area. Now, here are your Metra delays. Southwest service is suspended. Delays on Milwaukee North Line, and all service to and from Chicago Ridge is suspended. Now, the video is incredible from up above. No injuries reported at this point. No danger to the public with chemicals or anything like that. But definitely expect delays. Metra asking everybody to divert to another station. Martha Hill from Metra explains what could be a lengthy cleanup.
This is a very long freight. I understand it's over 9,000 feet long, and the weight is probably about 8 tons. So this is heavy, and they're probably going to need special equipment to go ahead and, lift some of these cars and get them back on the tracks. So this is going to take some time, and it's going to take a lot of manpower.
Back now with a commuter who found out just moments ago about the situation here, Jaime Alvarez. And so, Jaime, did you hear the announcement when you drove up, or did you hear it on the radio finally?
As my fiance was driving by, I was like, oh, what's going on? It's like, oh, no, it's like, because I know that the tracks kind of intersect between the Metro and the other one. Right. So it's like, oh, no, hopefully it doesn't affect me, but it kind of looks like it might.
Yes, and you weren't able to hear our Metro spokesperson saying that this could be several hours because there's like 9,000 feet of train, almost a half a mile long, and several cars are derailed. The cleanup, they're saying, could be lengthy. What are your plans?
Uber, Orange Line. Talk to my boss, see what he says. So, because usually kind of rely on this one because it's a straight shot to the Union Station. So, I just talk to my boss and see where my options are.
Yeah, no, and you may have heard that recorded message that they're playing here at the Metro station, telling anybody who might get out of their car that, in fact, the service is suspended here. Well, good luck to you, Jaime. Thank you for talking to us.
Oh, no, thank you. Thank you for letting me know.
Okay, be careful there. All right. So, we've only seen a couple people, although I see maybe somebody else driving up. Now, I think we're, as I said, doing a pretty good job of getting the word out that you need to find an alternate method to get to work if you take this line. And certainly if you start at the Chicago Ridge stop. That's not happening today. Back to you in the studio, at least not now.
What a mess. All right, Roseanne, thanks for the update. We are hearing from the man who was questioned in the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie in Arizona. He was briefly detained yesterday. He was released this morning. He says he didn't know what was happening.
How would you describe what happened to you?
Terrifying. Something I didn't do for something. I was being like, I felt like I was being kidnapped, bro, because they didn't tell me anything at the beginning.
Earlier on Tuesday, the FBI released video from the Nest camera. Even though the feds had said it was destroyed, agents later claimed that the video was obtained through back-end systems. Nancy Guthrie is Today Show host Savannah Guthrie's mom. There had been a ransom for Nancy Guthrie, but those deadlines have since passed. The Guthrie family says it is willing to pay for her return.
8:05 now. Both Republicans and Democrats say they want answers about what's in a new batch of files on Jeffrey Epstein.
Brian is here with more. Brian?
Well, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick defended himself in a Senate hearing about his ties to the late convicted sex trafficker. Lutnick was mentioned several times in the latest release of files, including meeting with Epstein after his 2008 conviction on prostitution charges. In a previous interview with the New York Post, Lutnick claimed that he only met Epstein once while with his wife. He said that they immediately left after Epstein made a lewd comment. But yesterday, Lutnick made a new claim.
We had lunch on the island. That is true. For an hour, I did not have any relationship with him. I barely had anything to do with that person.
Lawmakers are accusing the Justice Department of making inappropriate redactions in some of the files. Tuesday marked the first day that members of Congress could see unredacted versions of the more than 3 million pages of files that have been released so far. Anthony?
Okay, Brian, thank you for the update there. A sentencing hearing is expected to start today for a double homicide in Chinatown. This happened about 6 years ago. In February of 2020, police say Alvin Thomas approached two men and demanded money from each of them before shooting both of them. The judge says the mandatory sentence is life imprisonment without the possibility of parole.
All right, we have an update on this pretty surprising story. The FAA has lifted a closure of airspace over El Paso, Texas. Overnight, the FAA closed the airport because of some security issue. It never really said what it was. The FAA says all flights will resume as normal. Well, switching gears, people in Arlington Heights will be holding a Bears rally today. The event is called Springfield Kickoff. Bring the Bears to Arlington Heights. It will be at the DoubleTree Arlington Heights Hotel. It's being put together by Touchdown Arlington. It's a coalition of business owners who support the Bears coming there.
All right, 8:07. Let's check back in with Mike Kaplan for a look at this forecast. We're like
El Paso airport thing is kind of
it's weird.
Right?
It's a head
Okay,
scratcher.
so closed for 10 days now.
And now the reopened after a couple hours. Well, all right, good. If you're flying to ELP, that's your luggage.
All right.
ELP, thank you.
Paso. All right, we have temperatures now that are in the upper 20s. A few spots are 30. Aurora, a little colder, 23 there. We got 25 at Waukegan. Midway and O'Hare, 27. Along Chicago's lakefront, 29. 28 at Valparaiso and also in Merrillville. These temperatures are a little bit warmer than normal for this time of morning on a February the 11th. But they're colder than they were at 8 o'clock yesterday, and our temperatures this afternoon will not get as warm as yesterday when we maxed out at 49 at O'Hare, and several spots, especially south of the city, got up to 50 plus. So, yes, it's going to be a cooler day, but it will not be cooler than normal. Not a whole lot of wind out there either. Even the gusts aren't that strong. A little bit stronger coming across the Lake Michigan city of Benton Harbor, but most of the day I think our winds are going to be between about 5 and 15. Wind chills, upper teens and low 20s for the most part right now. You need the coat out there, but maybe in the afternoon with these 40s coming back, you might leave the coat unzipped. It's going to be quite pleasant. That sunshine, I was out playing with Reagan, my German Shepherd dog, yesterday, and even on that snowpack that I still have in the yard, that sun actually felt pretty warm, and it will likely do so again today. And if you don't feel it today, you sure will coming up. Wait till you see these temperatures later in the forecast.
All right, thank you, Mike. Canada is trying to uncover what led to one of the worst mass shootings in its history.
Big tech may be getting serious about making changes, what it says it will do to make its platforms safer. We're going to have more weather coverage next, but first here's a quick look at your 7-day forecast. We will be right back.
What are you girls doing?
We're doing all the heating, plumbing, and electric around here.
All right, I know you girls know stuff, but let's leave it to our trusted local experts. Let's call Four Seasons.
It's about time you figured it out.
Whether it's heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, air duct cleaning, or generators, you can always trust Four Seasons.
For all the right reasons, call 866-4 Seasons.
For the content of this ad.
The time is now 8:13 on your Wednesday. You're taking a live look at the Bean. It is literally shining. The sun is out. Make the rest of the week really extra good. We have to switch gears, though, to a really horrible story over in Canada. At least 9 people are dead and 25 hurt in a mass shooting in British Columbia. Police say the shooter killed 2 people at a home and 7 at Tumbler Ridge Secondary School. Now, that town where this occurred and the school are very small. The mayor says he knows every one of the victims, and the school had less than 200 students. Police do not know why the shooter attacked. It is the 3rd worst mass shooting in Canada's history.
The National Governors Association will not meet with President Trump this month. It was slated to meet February 19th and 20th, but the organization decided to call the meeting off after learning that the White House only invited Republican governors. The organization says it is disappointed that the White House decided to make the meeting a partisan event.
The big social media platforms say they will try to make it safer for kids online. Meta, Snapchat, and TikTok have agreed to be part of a Safe Online Standards program. It was designed by the Mental Health Coalition. Each platform will be graded on policies, tools, and product features. The highest grade will be use carefully.
Okay, you will have to wonder how cell phone service would work on the moon. Yeah, NASA will let astronauts on the Artemis mission take their smartphones up to space. NASA has not let astronauts take any kind of electronics on missions thus far since Apollo. Crews going to the International Space Station will also get to take their phones. However, they will just work like a camera.
Oh, okay.
They won't. I don't think there's any cell towers up there at last
You could also
check.
just bring a camera.
Yeah.
Very true.
I bet there's. I would not put it past the folks there. They probably count every last ounce of weight.
Oh,
right?
yeah,
I
they
mean,
have to.
gas and all that stuff, or fuel.
But I know, having spoken to several astronauts through fortune of my business, I guess, that a lot of these gentlemen did bring a couple little things to take into space with them on some of these missions. So I think maybe NASA accounted for a little overage here and there, knowing that the guys were going to put
something in their pockets,
so they could bring home something that had flown in space. All right, we have beautiful blue skies out there. I mean, look at the monitors behind me here. The bean completely snow-free. There is some ice, pancake ice out there on the lake, but we're in the process of melting ice and snow. Still a little bit of snow on the ground. This is a map of snow cover here, and I'll highlight a few spots. We can get an idea where there's still some snow on the ground, not accounting for the big plowed piles and parking lots and such. But generally, we're looking at about 1 inch or 2 of snow on the ground, including over Cook County. A little bit more in these dark blue shaded areas, which include parts of Porter and LaPorte County. You got that additional lake effect. But we are day by day chopping up that snow and making it go bye-bye. And I really think by this weekend, there's not going to be anything on the ground except the plowed piles, which are going to be very snurty, shall we say. 42 today, bright sunshine. Northwest winds about 5 to 15 miles per hour. So you'll be able to get outside and enjoy that sunshine, and you won't be complaining about how windy it is. Tonight, seasonably chilly, 25 for the low. That's a few degrees warmer than normal. Not much wind. Skies will be clear to partly cloudy. Today and tomorrow are the quote-unquote coldest days of the bunch. And they're way above normal, but not as way above normal as what we get starting Friday. Boosted those temperatures into the 50s for 5 days in a row, and I still think we've got a 60-plus in the hopper next week. Valentine's Day, if you got plans, weather is not going to get in your way. High of 52 degrees. Back to you.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. The Supreme Court returns to the bench next week. Still has not ruled on the legality of President Trump's tariffs. The case is Learning Resources versus Trump. Learning Resources being a Vernon Hills-based company, which said that the tariffs are threatening its existence. This case was heard back on November 5th, and people expected the court to rule on it pretty quickly. That has not been the case. On Chicago Live, Casey Cronus caught up with a UIC professor about why the court is taking so long here.
Remember, the tariffs are still in effect, so these tariffs are still affecting our economy. They're still operating as a tax on consumers in the United States while this case is pending at the Supreme Court. My best guess is that there are some complications in the case that are causing the justices to think about it a little bit harder than they might think about an ordinary case of this magnitude. Usually we would expect major decisions to come out in June, sometimes late June, even early July. But again, given how important this case is to the economy, many of us were thinking it would come out quickly. It's just not happening.
And Professor Schwinn, does the U.S. Supreme Court kind of have the autonomy to work at their own pace? I mean, if they wanted to, could they extend this until June or July?
They do. What a job, right? Yeah. They can work at their own they can work at their own pace, and if they want to release a decision quickly, they know how to do that. They've showed us in recent years that they know how to do that. And if they want to sit on it and take their sweet time, they can do that too.
Talk a little bit about the implications of their decision. Two lower courts had ruled in favor, and that's what brought this to the Supreme Court, ruled in favor of the toy company and others who have filed this lawsuit against the tariffs. Tell me what the implications are based on their decision, whichever way they go, and how this could impact the way that businesses across the nation are operating.
Yeah, it's a really good question. We're seeing new information come out almost every day, it seems like, with estimates about the tariffs' effects on our economy, on individual households, and projections about how much individual households will pay per year under the tariffs of varying amounts. And so this could have a sweeping effect on the economy one way or the other. If the Supreme Court upholds the lower court's opinions and strikes the tariffs, then the tariffs will go away, at least for a while, Casey. But it's important for viewers to remember that the president has maybe a half a dozen other authorities by Congress to issue different kinds of tariffs in different situations that could in some ways replace the tariffs that President Trump issued on Liberation Day, and then these so-called trafficking tariffs that he issued against Mexico, Canada, and China.
All right, there's a lot of legal possibilities here going forward. The court would need to issue a ruling by early July on all the cases it's heard during this term. While the justices won't return until next week, it's always possible that they could release an opinion without taking the bench. Could also be that there are multiple opinions about these tariffs, and the court might send it all back down to the lower courts to decide if or how to refund tariffs if it decides to overturn them. Be sure to catch Chicago Live every day, 1 o'clock on Fox Local. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Hope your Wednesday morning's off to a great start. Nice and sunny outside, warmer too. Hope you get out there and enjoy at some point today. We'll be right back.
Ashley. Ashley.
Welcome back, 8:24, as we take a look over Grant Park. It's a nice sunny Wednesday with some warmer temperatures today. Okay, the president is meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu today. As Doug Luzada reports, Israel's change of plan in Gaza is being criticized by the White House.
We expect more talks with Iran, but the threat of U.S. military action is still clearly on the table. That huge military buildup now within striking distance of Iran could expand even further.
As you know, we have a massive flotilla right now going over to Iran. We'll see what happens. I think they want to make a deal. I think they'd be foolish if they didn't.
And there are reports now that the president is considering sending in a second aircraft carrier, just as Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is set to meet with the president today to push for a hard line on Iran.
I will present to the President our views regarding the principles of the negotiations, the important principles, and in my eyes they are important not only for Israel but for anyone in the world who wants peace and security in the Middle East.
Iran says it's willing to talk about its nuclear program, but that's it. And after the president expressed support for widespread protests in Iran, his former UN ambassador, Nikki Haley, is among those pushing for more.
What would be horrible is for President Trump to leave office and Iran once again show that they've been enriching nuclear material, they've been suppressing their people, they've been paying off military proxies. All those things come back up and all this will be for nothing.
You know, it's a good question. A lot of people say no. And I would say that I'd rather make a deal. It's got to be a good deal. No nuclear weapons, no missiles, no this, no that, all the different things that you want.
Now, that is the president's goal, but despite the weakness of the Iranian government right now, it's not clear that there's going to be much give there. In Washington, Doug Luzada, Fox News.
Okay, there could be another partial government shutdown this week as Democrats and Republicans appear miles apart on funding for the Department of Homeland Security. DHS would shut down for the second time in 2 weeks if Congress doesn't pass a bill to provide it with more funding by Friday. Democrats are demanding sweeping reforms to rein in the Trump administration's immigration crackdown, while Republicans have rejected the Democrats' proposals, including a ban on agents wearing face masks and new warrant requirements. It's unclear whether Democrats are willing to sign off on a temporary deal to extend the Friday deadline for the DHS and allow more time to negotiate.
Paramount is raising its hostile takeover bid for Warner Brothers Discovery once again. It wants to pay Warner shareholders an added ticketing fee if the deal doesn't go through by the end of the year. That would end up being around $650 million for every quarter. Paramount also pledges to fund Warner's nearly $3 billion breakup fee to Netflix. Warner's board says it will review the offer. 8:27, Mike, what's the good news today?
It is a Valentine's Day forecast you are guaranteed to love, unless maybe you're a snowplow driver. I've got the full 7-day coming right up.
Fox 30.
got junk.
Marimar Martinez plans to file a lawsuit today over her treatment by Border Patrol. She was shot 5 times by agents in October during an altercation with them. On Tuesday, evidence in the shooting was released, and it included former Border Patrol Chief Gregory Bovino praising the agent who shot her. Martinez's attorney also says she was falsely called a domestic terrorist by the Justice Department.
A major freight train derailment in Chicago Ridge has stopped all Metro trains to and from the station. Metro says it doesn't know how long. Service will be disrupted on the Southwest service line.
People in Arlington Heights will be holding a Bears rally today. The event is called Springfield Kickoff, Bring the Bears to Arlington Heights. It will be at the Doubletree Arlington Heights Hotel. It's being put together by Touchdown Arlington. It's a coalition of business owners who support the Bears coming there.
Major developments here at home where body cam video has been released in a Border Patrol agent's shooting of a Chicago woman.
Fox Chicago's Say Kwan is live with an update. Good morning, Say.
Hey, good morning to you guys. Yeah, this evidence just released yesterday will become the focus of a new civil lawsuit that Marimar Martinez is expected to announce today. But really, this evidence gives us a better idea of exactly what happened in the moments leading up to the shooting. And it also gives us a better idea of the conversation that federal agents were having afterwards.
All right, it's time to get aggressive out because they're trying to box us in.
Watch out. We're going to make contact and we're boxed in.
We are boxed in.
Out of here.
All right, you're fine now. All right, out of the car.
Be advised, we've been struck. We've been struck.
Get out.
What you're looking at here is the body cam video from the morning of October 4th, the day Marimar Martinez was shot 5 times in the Brighton Park neighborhood. The federal agent who fired those shots is Charles Exum. According to Homeland Security, Martinez rammed into the car that Exum and other federal agents were in, but attorneys for Martinez have continued to say this video shows otherwise. When you really break it down here, guys, this video shows Agent Exum, who is driving the car, turning the steering wheel to the left and hitting a car before getting out and opening fire. We know a judge ruled in favor of Marimar Martinez just last week, allowing the release of this evidence. Martinez and her attorneys say getting this out into the public is a huge step for them so that she can protect her image and reputation. This evidence, of course, will be, again, the big focus here moving forward for Marimar Martinez. We know they're expected to announce that civil lawsuit today at 11:30. Back to you guys.
And Say, I know you've been in contact with the attorney for Martinez. He appeared here in the studio before they headed to Washington for that hearing last week. What has he been saying this morning?
Yeah, so we actually just got a statement here from Chris Parenti, that is the attorney for Marimar Martinez. This came in just the last 15 minutes or so, and I'll read it to you right now. This discovery now shows the world what Marimar knew when she first reviewed it. Her shooting was not an isolated incident. DHS officials, all the way up to Secretary Noem, have created a culture of violence among their agents. Post-shootings, these agents are embraced, celebrated, and promoted. As Marimar was fighting for her life in the hospital, Greg Bovino was promoting the agent without any investigation being done into the shooting. This is why agents shot Renee Good in cold blood on the streets of Minneapolis, and they did not attempt to perform CPR. They were all checking their phones to see what reward Commander Bovino was going to give them of successfully killing another protester. Once again, that statement came in just the last 15 minutes or so. We've been in contact, and of course, more information is expected in the next few hours here when they announce that civil lawsuit at 11:30.
Yeah, and Say, thank you for bringing that to us right away. We appreciate it. I know it's a long statement to read, but it is really informing our viewers. You know, speaking of Greg Bovino, though, is he involved in this evidence that's released? Maybe we can save that question for her. Or there she is back. Say, I don't know if you were able to hear me, but, you know, how is he involved in this released evidence?
We'll check
as well. You know, we have obtained some.
Okay, sorry for the back and forth there. We'll check back in with Say later in the morning as this hearing gets underway.
And from one big story to another, a national story, the search for Nancy Guthrie has taken a new turn this morning.
Caroline Elliott is live in Arizona with more on this. And Caroline, can you talk to us first of all about this wrinkle where someone was briefly detained?
Yeah, Anthony, it has been a wild 18 hours or so here in southern Arizona, but we do know police detained and then released someone just a couple hours after. We know that person, again, this all started in a traffic stop in Rio Rico, which is about an hour south of here, pretty close to the border. And from what we've heard from that person, Fox did talk to that person directly. He said that his name is Carlos. He said that police detained him. They took his cell phone. They were asking him all kinds of questions about where he had been and also questions about Nancy Guthrie. He told police he didn't know anything at all. He said he didn't even know if he had been to the property before. And then we did see police release him shortly after. So again, at this point, it looks like investigators still do not have a suspect or a person of interest in this case, but they're now combing through thousands of tips that are now pouring in.
Caroline, the kidnappers had demanded the ransom in Bitcoin, and there seems to be a new development with that wallet. What do we know?
Yeah, Gabriella, so we're still working through this information now, but we are hearing of new TMZ reporting that there was some kind of activity in that Bitcoin wallet yesterday that was connected to that initial ransom note. So again, unclear exactly what kind of activity. We know that that deadline for the ransom was on Monday, 5 p.m. local time. Of course, that's come and gone now. But again, as of yesterday, around 5:30 local time, that is when TMZ said they saw some kind of activity in that wallet. Again, they're being pretty tight-lipped at this point. Not too many details on what happened in that wallet, and we have to imagine investigators might be telling them to not share too much information right now.
Caroline, one more question before we let you go here. It is about that video that apparently shows it's a Nest cam from the night that Nancy Guthrie was taken. Initially, police had said this was lost. What do we know about how it ended up being found and then publicized?
Yeah, Anthony, well, that has been the game changer in this investigation after the FBI pushed out that video. But as you mentioned, at first it was unclear if we would ever see those images. You can see in that surveillance video that person that was standing on Nancy Guthrie's porch. It appeared that they removed the recording device, and that's what FBI Director Kash Patel said exactly. That is exactly what happened. But again, we know that investigators have been working behind the scenes trying to recover that video, and as we saw, they were successful in that.
All right, Caroline Elliott in Tucson, Arizona for us this morning. Thank you for the update. Appreciate it. All right. Valentine's Day can make a lot of folks feel lonely, and there are folks out there, scammers, who will gladly take advantage of lonely people.
Brian Jackson is here with some more details. Hey, Brian.
Well, Valentine's Day is just 3 days away, and romance scammers, they're using AI to build fake profiles, and it's getting really hard to tell what's real and what's not. Here's a look at how they work. They spend weeks or months talking to you every single day. They find people on dating apps, social media, or send random texts like, hey, or I just missed you at the party. They kind of learn your life, and then they make you feel seen. Then there's an emergency, and they need money. A cybersecurity expert says that these scams have stolen over $1 billion. They use AI for fake identities and deepfake video chats. A former FBI undercover agent says even smart people get caught because of how our brains work.
We all suffer from a psychology called confirmation bias. When we see something that we truly want to be true, we will confirm it is true for ourselves, even though something within us knows it's too good to be true. You'll just make it true because you want to believe that you've just fallen in love. You want to believe that this person is that magic person for you. And that's why romance fraud can be one of the most nefarious crimes out there.
And here's what you really need to know this morning. The second someone you met online asks for money, stop and block them. News at 4 anchor Terrence Lee sat down with a local man who lost $70,000. He thought that he was too smart to fall for this, but that's exactly who they end up targeting. You can find Terrence's full story up right now at fox32chicago.com. Back over to you guys.
Okay, thank you, Brian. 8:39, and look at that view. Spectacular, Mike.
It really is. But to Brian's point, it is. I mean, knowing AI from what isn't AI is really very, very hard. Very,
so tricky.
very Very.
Mike Kaplan's
I knew
glitching.
I knew
we
it.
need the original Mike Kaplan.
All the rumors are true.
All right. Well, look, we've got some really un-February-ish weather on the way here. Yesterday was spectacular, wasn't it? Upper 40s to 50. Today, not as warm, but still warmer than normal. We got 42, I think, on the way for the official high today. A couple of days ago, I was going 38. So to me, this is a day that's going to overachieve from what the expectation was just a couple of days ago. And I think tomorrow we will likely be in similar thermal territory. In fact, this is the extended temperature outlook. Take a look at the dates here. February 19th, so a week from tomorrow for the following week. Above normal temperatures expected in Chicagoland and really almost everywhere in the lower 48 east of the Rockies. So this warm pattern is not going away anytime soon. Today, one of the 2 coldest days in my entire forecast. 42 today, still warmer than normal. Sunshine across the board. Tonight, clear to partly cloudy, a low of 25. Seasonably chilly with very little wind out there. Look at the next 7 days here. We got a 42 tomorrow, a 50 on Friday, 52 for Valentine's Day, Sunday 52, another 52 on Monday, and then it really warms up. 58 degrees on Tuesday, and I really think we've got a couple of 60s on the way here, maybe Wednesday and Thursday of next week. Could be flirting with some record highs here toward the middle of next week. But look at all that sunshine, too. This is a great 7-day.
There it is.
Woodstock Willie was right all along.
I knew it, that pretty little guy.
All right. Do GLP-1 drugs have a side effect that no one predicted? Why some people are worried that they might be tied to a disease from the 18th century. We'll be right back with more on that.
All right, welcome back on this Wednesday morning. We told you a few weeks ago that the Chicago City Council voted to ban the sale of hemp-derived products like Delta-8 from local retail stores. Some say the move protects children from hemp products that have child-friendly packaging, while others argue that the ban could hurt small businesses. Well, some hemp and industry businesses are coming together around the city to encourage a veto of the vote. So joining us is Dipesh Sharma, Vice President of Illinois Hemp Coalition, and Eric Harb, CEO of Marketing, Imprint, and Crazy Professor Hemp Brand. Thank you guys for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
Let's first talk about this town hall that you have coming up. You know, what's the purpose? Explain it to folks at home.
Absolutely. So the town hall is essentially a unity event where we have industry leaders, everything from hemp enthusiasts, store owners, the many organizations that are involved, from the IHAA, the IHBA, the Illinois Hemp Coalition, and the Illinois Black Hemp Association. We've all gathered together to educate lawmakers on all of the positive benefits of hemp products and also how this ban will affect small businesses. So we have speakers who will be on hand to educate the crowd. We also have lawmakers and press that will be attending the event, and we're excited. It's tomorrow at 6 p.m. at Shitiva on South Michigan Avenue in the South Loop.
So essentially you guys are encouraging, you know, a veto of this vote, correct?
We sure are. Absolutely.
And how does this affect some of the small businesses? I know we want to keep this short because we have talked about it with some of the, I think, 1,200 locally owned businesses who sell these hemp-derived products. But do you think that the mayor will listen?
The mayor will listen. The mayor is actually in favor of vetoing the ban. The issue is, does he have enough aldermen to back him on the veto? If there's 34 aldermen that vote yes to the ban, then that would essentially override the mayor's veto. So everyone's kind of doing their roll calls right now behind the scenes. Marty Quinn, who's the sponsor of the ban, along with Alderman Tobias, they're trying to get all their yes votes together, while the mayor is contacting various aldermen who are fighting for small businesses and saying, well, wait a minute, hold on. Maybe we're overreacting. Maybe we're being too aggressive. Let's evaluate this. Let's regulate these products, properly tax them, make sure that there are proper packaging guidelines and what have you, in order to do what we all want, which is to protect children while simultaneously allowing stores to make money and survive. I mean, it's difficult right now in the retail industry.
So let me ask you, what happens in November when this federal ban then takes effect?
Absolutely.
Dipesh?
So in regards to the federal ban, legislators have come to admit that this was an overreach and it's going to simply overregulate a lot of lawful businesses out of business. So there are currently multiple bills that have already been filed federally to either undo the provisions and the definitions that would be devastating to the industry. And also there is another bill which has been filed that would extend this ban by 2 years so that it gives the legislators enough time to find more sensible regulation without gutting the whole industry.
Okay, so we'll be following up on that. I should ask you guys, you know, when it comes to looking at some of the labels, when it comes to THC servings, you know, what should people at home be looking for?
Well, Dipesh?
Main thing is, you know, looking at the active ingredients, right? The active compound of, you know, which cannabinoids it's called, like the molecular compound that's in the plant here. So there should also be, you know, labeling that says 21 plus, because these are not intended for children. This is an adult-only product, along with the lab results QR code and or details of, you know, the processing facility, the manufacturer, the expiration date, the batch date, and so on.
I just want to be really quick with this because they're selling these hemp-derived products or these drinks over at the United Center, and they're kind of saying that it's, you know, equivalent to 1 glass of wine. Quickly, would you just say yes or no? Would you agree to that, or do you think that people should really, you know, monitor how they're feeling after it?
I would say I definitely agree that it's pretty much right around the same as a glass of wine. But the big deal about the United Center carrying these products is it adds some extra legitimacy to our industry, which we built over the last 8 years. So we really don't want to just sit back and let the liquor companies and restaurant association come in and take over. We want to collaborate where we can all work together and in a safe and responsible manner.
Okay, thank you two so much. Jake, I'll toss it over to you.
Thank you, Gabby.
Coming up, it's an epic concert, 25 years in the making. And we're going to talk with the 3-time Oscar-winning music composer who made it all possible.
Why is this presentation in Chicago going to be like the first time we've seen a movie that is now celebrating its 25th anniversary?
Well, they belong together. The music and the film are now together.
3-time Oscar winner Howard Shore joins us to talk about The Lord of the Rings in concert coming to the Auditorium Theater next month. We'll tell you more when Good Day Chicago returns.
And Fox Local.
It's one of the most legendary films ever made, like you've never seen it before, happening right here in Chicago. It's hard to believe that this year marks the 25th anniversary of the very first Lord of the Rings film, The Fellowship of the Ring. Those films are special for a lot of reasons, but one of them is definitely that iconic score composed by 3-time Oscar winner Howard Shore. Now, you can see the music performed live by 238 musicians, including symphony orchestra, chorus, and soloist, while the film plays on a 60-foot screen. It's all happening at the Auditorium Theater. 3 performances. A third was recently added by popular demand. And I had the great honor of speaking with Mr. Howard Shore about writing that legendary Oscar-winning score and why, even 25 years later, seeing it like this really is like seeing it for the first time.
Even if you've seen the movie a million times, when you see it with the orchestra playing the music live, it's like the first time you've ever seen it in your life. And I'm curious, Why is that? Why is this presentation in Chicago going to be like the first time we've seen a movie that is now celebrating its 25th anniversary?
Well, they belong together. The music and the film are now together. And when you see the film with a live orchestra playing the score, you're seeing the music in a new way, and you're hearing the film in a new way. It's very exciting. It's amazing when I first went to see it, how the colors from the screen just radiate through the cinema. The greens, the reds, the blues, the colors of the music and the film coordinate with each other in a way that's very exciting. You've never quite seen that before.
When you come up with something like a ba-ba-ba, 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 does it come to you like that, or is it, you know, one note at a time, sort of figuring it out, or does that whole epic theme just instantly pop in your head?
Sometimes they arrive like that, like a gift from Christmas. Here's your gift, Howard. Other times you gotta, you know, there's work involved. Composition's not easy, but I've been doing it since I was a child, so it was a very natural process to me. And here I was writing film music, and I had this great book to work with. It was a gift for a composer.
You can see the Fellowship of the Ring in concert at the Auditorium Theater on March 13th and 14th. 3 different performances. Visit auditoriumtheater.org for more information. Guys, in addition to Lord of the Rings, he wrote the music for Silence of the Lambs, all the movies of Martin Scorsese, of David Cronenberg, and he was also the very first musical director. On October 11th, 1975, he got hired to conduct the music for a little series called Saturday Night Live.
Oh, my God.
Night 1, he was there.
That is quite the resume.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, sir. Our 9 o'clock hour, Good Day Chicago starts next, so stay with us.